When you step onto a cruise ship, you enter a floating kingdom of glittering lights, endless buffets, and cheerful staff ready to serve your every need. But behind every smile lies a story few passengers will ever know. A story that unfolds not on the grand decks or in the elegant dining halls, but in the narrow corridors, hidden stairwells, and metal-walled cabins marked with one sign: crew only. Today, we journey inside the secret world of crew life. Not the paradise you see above, but the reality that exists below. This is Behind the Smiles, the untold life of cruise ship crew. Chapter 1, the first step. Inside, the moment the crew-only door closes, the atmosphere shifts. The music stops, the polished marble floors vanish, and suddenly you're walking down long, white, fluorescent-lit hallways that feel like an endless maze. This is the I-95, the cruise highway. It runs the length of the ship, buzzing with activity housekeepers pushing carts of linens, engineers rushing with toolboxes, waiters carrying trays of food scraps back to dishwashers. While the passengers sip champagne, here the real labor of the ship is in motion. Chapter 2. Cabins below the waterline. For many crew members, home for months at a time is a tiny cabin hidden deep inside the ship, often below the waterline. Inside, 2 bunk beds squeeze into a narrow room, lockers for clothes, a small desk, a bathroom barely big enough to turn around in. Privacy is rare, silence rarer still. The hum of engines seeps through the walls, and the room rocks gently with every wave. If you're lucky, you share with just one roommate. If not, you may live with 3 others, strangers at first, later brothers or sisters in survival. Chapter 3. The crew mess meals are taken in the crew mess, a cafeteria stripped of glamour, yet rich in culture. Metal trays slide across counters where cooks dish out rice, curry, pasta, or stew. Food is simple, designed to feed hundreds quickly. Sometimes delicious, sometimes barely edible, but always a taste of home for someone. Here, voices rise in dozens of languages. Filipinos chat over fish and rice. Indians laugh over spicy curry. Ukrainians swap stories with Brazilians, while a lone Indonesian crew member strums a guitar in the corner. It is noisy, crowded, and chaotic, but for many, the mess is where friendships are born. Chapter 4. The hours that stretch on crew life is defined by time, or rather, the lack of it. Work shifts often stretch from morning to midnight, with only brief breaks in between. A waiter may serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner with no pause longer than an hour. A cabin steward may clean more than a dozen staterooms in a single morning, rushing to perfect every detail before guests return. There are no weekends, no true days off. The ship sails, and the crew keeps moving, day after day, for contracts that last 6 to 9 months. And yet, when you meet them, the smiles never falter. Chapter 5. Rules and discipline. Life on board is governed by rules as strict as any military base. Curfews exist for junior staff. Drinking is limited and monitored. Romantic relationships with passengers are forbidden, and even friendships can be scrutinized. Every crew member must attend safety drills, inspections, and training. Cameras watch the hallways, and supervisors enforce discipline with precision. A single complaint from a guest can end a career. Behind the smile lies a discipline few passengers ever realize. Chapter 6. Homesickness in the metal walls. Perhaps the hardest part of crew life is not the long hours or the small cabins, but the distance from home. A mother misses her child's first steps. A son cannot attend his father's funeral. Birthdays, anniversaries, weddings. Life continues without them. The only connection is through patchy internet that costs more than it should and works less than it could. Crew crowd into small internet cafes on board, headphones in, voices trembling as they try to bridge the gap between 2 worlds. Here, loneliness hides behind every smile. Chapter 7, the crew bar, but not every moment is burdened. At the end of a long shift, Crew retreat to the crew bar, a hidden sanctuary where beer is cheaper than water on deck and music fills the air. Here, uniforms are shed, laughter erupts, and for a few hours, the burdens of the day lift. This is where friendships deepen. Karaoke nights echo with voices from every continent. A dance floor comes alive with salsa, hip-hop, and Bollywood beats. For some, it's the only escape. For others, it's a reminder that joy is still possible, even at sea. Chapter 8. The Dual Identity. Every crew member carries two selves. The public self uniform pressed, hair neat, smile ready. And the private self exhausted, vulnerable, counting the days until the contract ends. This duality is heavy, but it is necessary. For without the mask of hospitality, the ship's illusion of paradise would collapse. And yet, beneath it all, many crew members find pride. Pride in creating unforgettable memories for strangers, pride in surviving months away, pride in keeping the ship alive. Chapter 9. The small joys inside the ship. Joy comes not from grandeur, but from the smallest things. A birthday cake shared in the crew mess, a late-night movie in the crew lounge. A quiet moment on the open deck, staring at stars unspoiled by city lights. A letter from home tucked under a pillow. These small joys carry the crew through the hardest days. Chapter 10. The smile that remains. So why do they keep smiling? Because behind the hardships, there is resilience. Behind the exhaustion, there is pride. And behind the sacrifice, there is the unshakable bond of a global family. The smiles you see are not empty masks, they are shields, survival tools, and sometimes even gifts of genuine warmth, given freely despite the weight behind them. Conclusion. The next time you board a cruise ship, remember, paradise above deck is built on sacrifice below deck. Every smile you see comes with a story of endurance, of longing, and of humanity. For behind the glamour, behind the music, and behind the endless service, there is another world. A world that few passengers ever see. The untold life of cruise ship crew. This is Behind the Smiles.